We at middle school, I hope everyone is aware, this is our sixth presentation on this particular topic, but still it's the need of the hour. Who are we? An ISO 9000 certified company, we are a consultant company. We also got the RDS approved for making bridges, and we have got a design, detailing, fabrication and PhD facility at Pondicherry. And that's our mother plant. We have got 3 state-of-the-art facilities. And again, when we talk about design, did you all know that we consume 2.7 metric ton of our natural resources to produce 1 ton of clean steel? Keeping this in mind, we at Metalscope design our buildings using high-strength steel. Having discussed about it, our more than 1,000 buildings have been already done. And also, we have got our installed capacity, 48,000 metric ton per annum. What we do, yes, you can see the pre-engineered buildings, steel structures, composite steel bridges, structures, modular buildings, and rail car and rolling stocks. Other than the buildings, we have rolled out more than 800 rail coaches across for ICF, RCF, and MCF primarily. Out of it, we are one of the key suppliers for train 18, Vande Bharat coaches. We are the key suppliers for underframes and sidewall roof. And also we are happy to share that we have increased our capacity by another 1,500 metric tons per month. We have installed a brand new automatic laser guided welding submerged arc welding machine, which completely turn around 1,500 metric tons per month. It's on the built-up line. So today's reality, I just want to keep away this technical presentation which most of us were discussing about. I would like to take up with this. So the entire next 4 slides are going to talk about the theory of constraint by Eliot Goldblatt, which always talks about the identify the system constraints, exploit the system constraints, subordinate everything above, elevate the system constraints, and go back to the state once the system constraint is broken. So today's condition, I believe, we all strongly believe when the lead time goes up, that's how the project starts. And also I want to talk about who has the problem, what is the problem, where, when the problem occurring, and why it is important to address. Today, when we talk about the system, when we discuss about deliverables of pre-engineered building, the major point we have is, we have got the 4 areas where we talk about engineering, procurement, manufacturing, fabrication, and execution. If you talk about the internal and external factors influence deliver a project, when we talk about the factors in engineering, technically we see 20% of the factors which influence in engineering, basically the customer, the architect, the consultant who is supposed to give us inputs. Predominantly first they deliver the rafters building the main structure. When it comes to the miscellaneous and accessories, we generally get it delayed. So if you see an engineering perspective, 20% of the data are, they have their influence. When it comes to the procurement, we all work with the OEMs and the other suppliers, miscellaneous suppliers, where the combination is almost the internal factor is 50%, the external is 50%. When it comes to the production, manufacturing, we always have the upper hand. We have got 95% is with our control, but for the 5% there is an influence from the customers, consultants, when they come to inspect our structures and take it for delivery. When it comes to the execution, that's where we are actually struck, because we have very little control. I believe more than 70% of the control are actually by the external factors which influence in the project delivery. We have experienced it in the recent development. There was a fake news. All of a sudden, we lost around 400 migrant workers left Chennai. Most of our projects suffered for 3-4 days. Now we are back in action. So if you see, there are a lot of external factors which influence, right from the site readiness, the work front clearance, the local dynamics, equipment vendors, manpower movements. So there are a lot of, so I'm not going to talk about which is actually not in our control. Where we see there is another 30% left which is definitely under our control. How do we work on it? Focus on completion is more important than the progress. That's actually what we are talking about. So based on that, we cannot talk more about a glorified fabrication company, then we need to talk about a project delivery company. Now that if you are not going to deliver projects on time, we are definitely, whatever capacity we have got no value here. So when we talk about this, we also understood how this 30% can influence this 70% external influence. That's where we are talking about, again, based on the theory of constraint, we thought why kitting is so important. So when we talk about what is kitting, so when you talk about a building of 300 meter long, or when you talk about bridges which is of 2.6 kilometer long, where you have got 80 PRPR caps and lot of more than 7,000 tons of girders are being installed. So if you are going to talk about you attack everything, all 2.6 kilometers attack, it's definitely not going to happen. Even if you talk about a building which is of 300 meters, if you say that I can do it at one shot, it's not going to happen. So we actually reworked on the systems, talking about the entire building. Why don't we talk about something called kitting? When we talk about, and I'm sure that it's not a myth, it's a reality, even a nut and bolt or a sagrad is capable of hampering the entire site's performance. It happens in many sites. Sometimes we are forced to airlift more than the cost of the structures. We spend a lot of money in airlifting the fasteners in last minute. Sometimes it goes out differently. So site performance will be improvised when we talk about the skating. How we actually work on the skating. So how we deliver full kits. So right from the day one, when we talk about the influence criteria, we focus exclusively in terms of right from the drawings inputs when we pick up from the consultants of customers. We see to that we get that completely in full kit. If you don't get the full kit from the customer, we say we can't start the project. We are little adamant, but we have no options. When we talk about delivering projects on time, we felt that definitely it matters a lot. Then when we work with our internal team, we also discuss about design, drawing, deliverables. Completely it should go in full kit to the customer approval. Otherwise, as customer definitely says, because you have not given me the staircase details, you have not given me flashing, so I can't approve your GA drawings. So we never want to give them an option to do so. So we deliver our complete drawings to our consultant in full kit. And when we talk about the fast track, we also do a lot of fast track projects, because when it comes to warehouses, it's more of fast track project. We thought, right from the start to AB or to GAD, we completely deliver them in full kit. And fabrication drawings, again, we don't want to talk in tonnages or value when it comes to our factory. Our factory planning is so nicely planned, where we talk about how many kits are going to be delivered for each project. If I'm going to talk about the next project, which is of 1,000 tons, we see 200 tons is going to be a kit. So we are going to talk about 5 kits. How many kits are going to be delivered this month? How many kits are going to be of next month? So we don't talk in tonnage, because again I mean, bolts and nuts and sag rods matter a lot for a project. So that sequential method deliverance in full kit, no customer is ready to pay us if we are going to dump the steel at site. We understood it well. Again, we want to talk about how fast the building grows at site. That's our key area, and that's how we work. We just want to showcase few of the projects we were actually working on this. I know, again, these are the projects which has got the same external, influence of 70%, but still we are trying to fight out at the 30% where we feel we have got better control. This is one of the projects, the world's second largest loop plant, ongoing project at Chennai. They are going to be the biggest loop manufacturing. We are doing it for IOCL through Ocean Interiors. If you see, this is going to be more of a process plant. We felt it's supposed to be a 3-inch building, then we went into projects. And this is another project, again we work with Ocean. These are 4 warehouses where we talk DP work project. It's around 60,000 square meters. The beauty of this is every building which we talk about, it matters on it. At our production, we got our director Mr. Sriram and our project team and manufacturing team is here. All our languages are the same. We talk about the kits. How many kits in structures, how many kits in roofs, or how many kits in cladding matters a lot for us to do the project delivery. And the third project which we are going to showcase here it is not only an individual which we talks about the kit. We also talk about the projects of 18 buildings together in a project site, where we are talking about this for a CSD Balgur. It's a French shoe process, it's a footwear special economic zone. Again, we have got all these 18 buildings in one project. Each project has its own kitting setups, and we deliver. And one interesting slide, maybe now it might be called as a myth. I'm sure it is going to be the future for all of us. It's only a thought for action, but a lot more to do with this. If you see this, on the other side is delayed. We are very proud in saying that sometimes we do projects on time, sometimes we are working on before time. This is going to be the future. I'm sure if it is not going to be for a process industry, definitely for a warehouse business, this is going to be the real future, because we see there is little earning opportunity before time, there is a less competition. This is where we are actually working at. And if you see this domino effect, I'm sure that domino effect is quoted in many areas, but if I want to read it for you, logic dictates that when the previous project is completed ahead of schedule, project managers can actually get started on the next big endeavors early. So we felt this, and we are very confident, because the recent projects which we have executed has made our guys to definitely feel this domino effect. I'm sure we are definitely on the right track, and we want to deliver before time.